5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
I'ma press play every time.
The funny don't stop shows. The funny don't stop. Hey, the funny don't stop shows. The funny don't stop. The funny don't stop shows. The funny don't stop. The funny don't stop shows. The funny don't stop. Hey.
My name is Halo Thomas, and you're listening to the Funny Don't Stop Show.
Hey, that's right. Another Tuesday, people. What up, y'all? I am your host, Alex Thomas.
And I'm Savvy Amusing.
And nobody else, man.
I was waiting.
For all of our fans watching right now, we're just now learning what alphabetical order means. And I think we all had a little bit of Raoul's blunt because that intro was horrible. I can't believe everybody just looked like, okay, what are we talking about?
So it froze up.
Yeah. And I wish I could say, Raul, let's start all over again. But the people are going to see that. But that's how real it is here at the Funny Don't Stop Show. Because we can do this kind of shit. Yes, it's funny. And we're going to do it one more time. I'm your host, Alex Thomas.
I'm Savvy Amusing.
I'm Sad Brass.
It's your boy DOC.
And
Betsy
And the Raul Guzman.
That's what I'm talking about. And this is the Funny Don't Stop Show. Yeah. So to all of our people worldwide that are watching right now, just you can laugh with us. We make mistakes like everybody else. And we just enjoying ourselves having fun. And by the way, too, the show is growing and we really appreciate people that are tapping in with us from all over the world. Sad, let them know where they can find us at, man. We're on all platforms. Am I right?
Yeah, no doubt. You can check us out on Spotify. You can check us out on iHeartRadio. Obviously, on Apple Play. You can download us in the podcast app. You can check out all our old episodes on Dash Radio. But more importantly, you can check us out on youtube.com/The Funny Don't Stop Show. Like us, subscribe us, get the alerts so you know exactly when we're going live and you can join the conversation.
Yes, sir. And if you're just like finally finding out about the Funny Don't Stop Show, we have had some amazing episodes. Some weeks is just us clowning, talking mess, laughing. One thing about the Funny Don't Stop Show, we like to say we find the funny in everything. Sometimes lately, obviously, in the crazy times that we're living in this pandemic, it's a lot of stuff that's not funny. So sometimes the topic gets really, really serious, and that's okay because sometimes, you know, you got to get serious when you're trying to figure out a solution, when you're talking about problems that are going on in the world. But, you know, this ain't CNN and this ain't TMZ. You know, we're not just the news. You know, sometimes it's personal stories. Sometimes it's just our take on everything. But at the end of the day, we want you to leave our show feeling good about yourself, laughing, because laughter is definitely healing. I know for a fact that we need laughter more than ever in these times that we're in right now. So just keep spreading the word, y'all. We really, really appreciate that. Betsy, how you doing this week? You got a fresh new hairstyle. I mean, what'd you do? Curl the hair up? What'd you do?
Well, you know, my hair is naturally curly, so I just roll it out and because it's like 80s curly. And
okay.
it's so long. You guys look how I curled it so I could spring it up so much because it is like insanely long.
So let me ask you something. Is that your real hair, Betsy? Because I heard white girls get extensions nowadays also. Is that true?
No.
Or is yours all real?
This is all real, but I'll tell you a funny story. When I first moved to LA and I modeled, I went for a test shoot tryout and the photographer goes, "Do you have extensions?" And I was like, "Give me 1 second. Let me call my agency and ask." And I was like, "Do I have extensions?"
That is hilarious.
That's hilarious.
That is. So let me ask you something. That is so funny. Betsy, are more and more white girls getting extensions now, or do they just go with their natural look? Is that something they kind of require on these auditions and stuff, or what?
Actually, I'm glad you asked that because when people go to vote for who the next president's going to be. I'm actually running a poll to see how many white girls have extensions. So I'm going to have an accurate number for you, Alex.
That is hilarious. So let me ask you this, Betsy. Out of 10 white girls that you know right now, friends or whatever, what would you say the ratio is? 2 out of 10, 5 out of 10, or hardly none that have extensions?
I might not have that many white friends. No, I'm joking.
That is very funny. And you know what? I believe you. I believe you, Betsy. You're extremely white, but you're extremely cool. And you're very funny, and you have an amazing personality. So I could see you having some super black friends other than us.
Not super black.
Super black. Because I know between me, Doc, Savvy, and Said, we're damn near as black as it gets, and you're hanging the hell out with us. So you
qualify for super black.
Exactly. You kind of like really fit right the hell in. And Raul he's like right on the line of black and Latino. Like, but if Raul wanted to lie to you and tell you he's half black, you'd almost have to believe him. Right.
Hey, man, that's what happens when you grow up listening to Too Short and E40 all day.
Exactly. Speaking of Raul, how are you doing? I see you went from outer space to like the 103rd floor on top of the World Trade Center.
Man, I had to do it, man. I had to rent this spot.
Man, that looked like that's about 15, 20 racks a month.
Man, a day.
Raul, your volume sounds kind of low.
It's still
it does.
Wait, what'd you say, Doc?
Raul's volume sounds low. You sound low.
Is it
okay.
low? Check. 1, 2.
Oh, no. What you need to do is if your mic sounds low, smoke a blunt so you can sound high, okay? That might. Raul was like, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
No, he was like, I already tried that.
Yeah, excuse me while I take this chronic break.
I know, right? How you doing, Doc?
I'm cool. Hanging in there, man. I mean, that is what it is. I'm cool.
Hey, when is that second stimulus check supposed to hit?
Hey, let me tell you, dog, I've been sending all types of emails, and I have yet to receive any response. So I don't know if that's coming, man. There's still a lot of battle between, both parties in regards to that happening. The Democrats, they're not. They want it one way. The Republicans are trying to be real sleek, real sneaky. So they're at a stalemate right now. So there's no decisions have been made if there's a second round coming, what's going on with the unemployment, if we're going to get, the $600 that we were getting before. Republicans wanted it to $300, and the Democrats was like, yo, 600 wasn't enough. So why would we go down to 300?
Wait a second. I know, call me out the loop because I didn't get any of these stimulus checks. I thought you guys said they were like 1,200. Oh, you talking about 300 and 600? What happened?
No. So everyone got the $1,200 stimulus check, except for those that were in a higher tax bracket. So that excluded you because you're like you make millions. So
hey, not monthly. Jesus Christ.
We got one check for $1,200
for the last 6 months.
Excuse me?
For that, so we've been in the pandemic 6 months now.
You just got You just only got one check for $1,200. That was it.
Okay, and now since we're back in the pandemic, a second one is supposed to come, and they said it's coming, or you're just hoping that one comes?
Well, again, there's a battle between the Republicans and the Democrats in regards to us getting another round of stimulus checks. So the battle at this point, is there going to be another round of $1,200 checks? So that's one issue. Then if you had filed for unemployment, you were getting like a $600, for lack of a better word, bonus on top of what before. But that ran out. That extra $600 ran out. It's over with. So now there's a battle, and the Democrats are saying, hey, they need that money. We want to, reinstate the $600. But the Republicans are saying, well, you know what? We're going to cut that in half and make it $300. The Democrats are saying, well, no, we want it our way. So because they're both fighting, there's nothing happening.
Well, damn, Doc. you're saying Democrats and Republicans, but it sounds like you know some people personally up in there because you're getting some inside information. Like, do they call you and be like, Doc, it's going down Thursday. Get your wallet ready.
Well, you know, I have a lot of friends and constituents who aren't necessarily in the workforce, so they are really paying attention to like what's going on. So they, you know, I have a lot. They tell me, so I try to stay on top of that. You know, with Pelosi going back and forth, and all that stuff. So
you stay in the loop. You stay in the loop.
Trying to, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but let's just say
that. I'm waiting for mine. Again, we're not in the Alex Thomas tax bracket.
Well, no. I'm just being honest with you. I didn't know because I remember. I think it was a show further back. Everybody was talking about these checks. I'm like, well, why the hell? I'm in the pandemic like everybody else. Like, why I can't get one?
Yeah, but if you make a certain amount of money, you don't even qualify.
Man, that's crazy because guess what? People with money, they could do with a little extra money too sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. But
you know what I'm saying?
A certain amount, yeah. So that's why Savvy didn't get his stimulus check too, because Savvy is another tax bracket. He just got a new car, that new Bentley that he got, you know.
His worth is a mill thing, right?
Exactly.
No, bro. I know what they did. Hey, I make so less. They forgot I was even a fucking citizen. They skipped right over my shit. They was like, "This nigga made so less, he cannot be a United States."
Right.
He's from a third world country.
This nigga made $38.65 for the year. Hell no.
They're like, Sammy, the last time they checked your address, it said the Philippines. You're like, no, that's Florence. No, nigga, in the Philippines where you live. How you been? How you holding up, Sammy? How you holding up, man?
Man, I'm pretty good, man. Just surviving the pandemic, man. Hanging
how's
in
a
there.
new car, Savvy? How's a new
the best
car,
of the
man?
lockdown and all this confusing the news and the government putting out there, bro. Just trying to survive it, man.
Ro, you asked him a question. What'd you say, Ro?
Yeah, how's a new car, Savvy?
Man, that sucker's rolling beautiful, man.
You out there street racing?
Hey, from here to Food for Less, nigga, I'm loving it.
Savvy, are you using a new skincare line? Because your face is radiant. Like you lightweight glowing, my G. What you got? What you
Bro. That is funny. How does one man say that to another? Hey, homie, like on some real shit? You exfoliate, homie?
Oh, vitamins.
Oh, that
men's multi. So men's multivitamins helps your cheekbones and your facial structure?
Man, that shit had you shining like you sweat baby oil, nigga.
Yeah, first of all, nigga, all you did was that ain't nothing but Flintstone chewables. Anything that has fruit in it.
Flintstone chewables. Oh my
god. That is hilarious. Where's Sid at? Oh, Sid said add me in. He fell out.
He just said he's back in.
I got him. He's in.
How you doing, Sid? Sid Brass, can he hear me? He just said add me in again, so I guess he's not in.
There he is.
He's there. I see him.
Sid, move around. Are you there?
Oh, okay. I'll talk lower. Sid?
Oh, I'm good, man. I had to get in through my phone.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say, yeah, man, I had to get in through the back window. How you been, Sid? Sid Brass?
He said he had to sign in through his phone.
Oh, can you hear us, Sid?
I think he's having technical difficulties.
Yeah, he's having some problems. Like I was having.
Okay. Well, hey, let's dive in real quick. Savvy, I mean, me and you being the sports fanatics and everybody else can chime in also. Man, how about them Lakers, brother? I'm really excited right now. We on to the next round of the playoffs and we getting some rest.
Bro, I'm extremely excited about it, man, because for the fact of the matter, Charles Barkley just disrespected our boys, man.
What did he say?
said we was gonna get swept by 8 seed. That man said if we saw Portland, we was gonna get swept. We didn't stand a chance.
After losing the first game,
Charles disrespected our boys out there, man. Like we wasn't number one in the West or something, you know?
Wow.
Like LeBron and AD is just nobody or something, you know?
Well, that was them people out there trying to bank on Damian Lillard. Like, don't get me wrong. Shout out to Oakland, California, and he's a hell of a hooper, and he can shoot his ass off. And he got hurt, okay? But you don't understand. I was just telling somebody today, man. Okay, yeah, they got 2 young killers with him and McCollum. Don't get me wrong. They can shoot, but basketball is still 5 players, man. You still need the whole squad to be able to contribute. And then on top of that, unfortunately, Damian Lillard goes down to a injury. But come on, don't disrespect our boys like that.
Right. Yeah, man. Like I said, Lillard would have made it a little bit more interesting, man. Carmelo, it gave him time. See, what they basically did, bro, is they gave Carmelo time to showcase himself and let everybody know that he was still the man. The Knicks is trying to offer that man a contract now because of that. You know, so Melo was proving that, hey, man, I'm still the man. I'm still a Hall of Famer out here, bro. You know, so it's like a next man up type of league, man. And although Portland couldn't pull it off, but I'm happy Carmelo Anthony was able to, show that he still got some in the tank.
Well, he just added at least 2 more years to his life. He added 2 more years.
The only problem with Carmelo, and I'm not giving him all his respect, he doesn't suck in no kind of way, but as good as you're supposed to be, you just can't be hot in small spurts.
Yeah.
Like if you want to be mentioned in the same breath as D Wade and LeBron, guys that you came up with in the league at the same time, when a team needs you most, and we all know this, is the playoffs. And you had, how many games did they play all together, the Blazers and Lakers?
I believe they went 5, right?
Okay. You had 5 games, brother. You didn't show up for 4 of them.
Yeah.
You cannot get hot a little bit sometimes because that's what he did.
He's not a focal point of that offense. So I think you can only, and I'm not, by no means am I a Carmelo fan, but just being fair, he's not really a focal point of that offense. So
and they know that.
A certain amount of touches, it's about the 2 point guard. So I think, he made the best of his time, the amount of touches that he got.
Well, they were hoping that the veteran still had a little something in the tank to help. And now, if I was the owner of the Blazers, if I was the coach of the Blazers, I would have to just really keep it all the way 100 and be like, this dude, this so-called this guy, he didn't show up and help us, man, when we needed him the most. Yes, he got hot a little bit. And in my mind, as a Laker fan, of course, I was like, oh, shit, do not let this nigga get hot.
Right.
Because that's a third, clip in the AK-47. But thank God he never really truly showed up. And we all know he's never been known for defense. Right. You know what I mean?
That's
so we were able to slide in.
Portland as a squad, they're probably one of the worst defensive teams in the league.
There you go. Anybody score on them.
So that's a very true fact, Doc. And in pro basketball, they tell you you can try to outshoot a team all day and the scores be 145 to 137, but there's got to be some point this thing called stopping them.
You got to stop somebody.
And it's called defense. It's defense. Trust me, coaches, when you win 135 to 131, you go, phew. But in the locker room, you're in their asses because there's no reason in the world another team should score 131 points.
Exactly.
There's no reason in the world we have to score 135 to win. Because guess what? That's not going to happen every night.
Exactly. And
with the Lakers, we got defense too.
Yeah.
Do y'all have defense with the Lakers?
We do. I think we can be a defensive. We can be a defensive team if that's the emphasis, and if we really try. That what scares me more is really the offense. I think we're such a big team, and if we have a great defensive scheme, it's going to be hard to come into the paint, and all the rebounds are going to come to us because we're a bigger team.
Well, first of all, to add to what you're saying, bigger, the beautiful thing about it, and they knew this when they put this team together, we're actually one of the tallest biggest teams in the league, because we got 3 7-foot dudes there in the middle. I mean, they're not all playing at the same time, but basically Dwight Howard 6'11", JaVale McGee's like 7, and also Anthony. He's damn near 7 feet.
He's almost 7 foot.
Right. Yeah. So we are very tall and linky, and that's going to go far in the playoffs. And it's not even that we're a super defensive team. It just comes down to if we can get our 3 damn near 7-foot guys to block 4 or 5 shots per game, that's the win right there. Because we're going to get offense. We're loaded.
That's the win. That's a great point. But also because we have size on everyone, we have to play that way. We have to play inside out. So we have to play big. We have to post up. We can't. Yes, Anthony Davis can shoot outside shots, but he's not an outside shooter.
No, exactly. That's like a last resort. Sometimes it actually scares me sometimes when he goes out there.
Scares me because
like he's a point guard.
Yeah,
right. We sometimes settle for a fall away jumper when you're almost 7 foot and you have someone on you.
Exactly.
6'4", 6'5". Back his little ass down and
absolutely.
Take it.
And don't get me wrong, when I say AD has complete game, he has great post game. He's great 10 feet, 5 feet from the basket.
But he
can go out there.
Really play with his back to the basket, so we don't really realize that like I think we should. If we did that, we would foul half of the teams out. They would foul us almost every time we went to the back.
Savvy, is Rondo supposed to be coming back, man, for this second round?
Yeah, man, they talked about it, man. I heard a rumor that he was supposed to come back for the first round of whoever we have from OKC and the Rockets, but they haven't confirmed it yet. But I'm hoping he does, man, because that speeds up the flow of the game, gives us more ball distribution, and it frees up LeBron and Anthony Davis, man.
Absolutely.
That quarterback court, man. It makes a difference. It really does. Right now, Alex, this is the way I feel. I feel like even without Rondo, I feel like the Lakers have barely just enough to squeeze out a championship this season. I feel like we just got just enough. We don't got the outside shooters that we need. We don't have a point guard at the time, but we have just enough to finesse us a championship. But if we can get our point guard back, I believe that'll make it that much smoother for us.
Well, I'm going to slightly disagree with you, and I hardly never disagree with you. We actually have the best point guard in all of basketball right now, because in LeBron's 6'8" heart, his 6'8" heart, he's a point guard, and he actually does a great job at it. But I'm saying what you're saying when it comes to, but just imagine if we literally had a little point guard like Rondo to take some of that pressure off of LeBron, so he can focus. No, I know that's what you're saying, and I'm agreeing with you on that. If we can get him to focus a little bit more on scoring. So man, I pray that Rondo comes back healthy, because you can't take away his veteran experience.
Yeah,
he's still a floor general.
We're gonna need him. We're gonna need him though, Alex. We're gonna need him.
What you say, Sid?
No, I was saying I was worried about Rondo being like Westbrook coming back. I felt like Westbrook coming back is what cost the Rockets the game last night. He shoots an air ball.
You may be right.
But you can't. Yeah, but that's just a mistake. But Sid, you know what you sound like now? I'm not trying to shit on you right now, but I used to be mad. I had a little pet peeve with dudes back in the day when they would laugh at a Kobe air ball or laugh when Jordan missed a bad shot. Dude, that dude's worst day is better than 98% of the entire league's best day. So not even being a super Westbrook fan, not even being a Houston Rockets fan, we all know I'm a Laker fan, but everybody's entitled to a bad game or some bad plays. Westbrook just came back, and he just wasn't sharp that night, because you cannot take away that dude is still one of the top 5 basketball players. So he didn't hurt the Rockets. It's just he had a bad night.
I'm saying his bad night was attributed to him being rusty and coming back off.
Very true.
Well,
that's the point I'm making. I'm saying I'm worried that somebody like Rondo will come back and he'll be rusty because he doesn't.
I hear what you're saying.
Time experience. That's all.
But I think the coach of the Lakers, one thing I've noticed, because I've watched him a lot over the years, he's good at managing his players. I don't think he's going to let Rondo come in and mess things up and totally put it on him. No, he's going to give him there's 12 minutes a quarter. If he lets him play 4 or 5, see if he's up, see if he's got his, his wind back. Is he distributing the ball? I don't think he's going to let them, because remember, they totally put all weight and reliability on a guy like Westbrook. Absolutely. With their other star Harden, where Rondo, there's no pressure on his back because he's just a piece of a great team. He's not like if LeBron came back from an injury, you expect him to do everything. We just need people to contribute, man. Right. If JaVale McGee, if JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard can give us at least 10 rebounds a game, give us 3 or 4 blocks, that's going to help. We don't need you to be the star. We got 2 superstars on the team. We just need people to contribute.
Play a role.
If KCP gets 10 points, if the white boy AC gets 10 points, if Danny Green can give us 4 or 5 great 3-pointers, we don't even need you guys to have superstar numbers. Right. We just need you guys to get in double figures and let LeBron and AD get to 25 to 30 to 40 points. If other people contribute,
I have a lot of questions.
Okay.
I have a lot of okay? Because y'all are saying we have the best defense, we have the best that, and apparently we have a player that's not even that good. According to this article I just got in the New Yorker.
Who's not good? Who's not good, Betsy?
LeBron James. According to the President of the United States, Donald Trump, LeBron James is just not that good. Donald Trump escalated his war of words with LeBron James on Saturday by saying that he could defeat the NBA star in a dunk contest were it not for bone spurs. I've seen LeBron James on TV, and quite frankly, I don't think he's very good at basketball, Trump said. The media is very unfairly biased in favor of him because he's a Democrat, and I think it's a disgrace. And he goes on to say that you look at LeBron, and sometimes when he shoots the ball, it doesn't go into the basket. He said, if I try to drink a glass of water and miss my mouth, it's all CNN talks about. Thank you. So you better.
You know what that sounds like, Betsy? You know what that sounds like, Betsy? That sounds like Donald Trump's attempt at comedy.
Right.
That's what it sounds like, man.
Yeah.
Well, if you saw.
That's satire. Has to be satire.
If you saw his speech in the Republican National Convention, you would understand Donald Trump is definitely a comedian.
Oh no, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's stand-up comedy every time he's at a rally, man.
At its finest. At its finest. That dude has figured out a way to just talk, and literally anything that comes out of his mouth, good or bad, everyone's going to talk about it. So that kind of sounded like that was his little ignorant ass attempt at comedy. That's why there's really not too much to.
Don't take light of the ignorance, though, right? I'm always Donald Trump is the king of whistleblowing, right? So this is him signaling to his white supremacist group to say, "I need y'all to attack LeBron James." I'm just starting the conversation off. You guys,
that's true,
said from here, right?
That's true.
Don't discount it. We laughing it off, right? But watch this hard right media, because we had the whole shut up and dribble thing. But watch the hardcore right wing media and your normal individual guy. You walk
go after him.
The LeBron James, jersey on. Don't be surprised that white supremacist guy coming. You take that LeBron James jersey off. He's trying to make the comparison to Black Lives Matter. Now you supporting LeBron James, and now we see this separation. So we got to be careful. This is a very smart marketing tactic that the president is playing.
Well, the beautiful thing about why I commend LeBron James, our brother LeBron James, he's actually got a whole movement, and it actually it was in the last meetings when the NBA stopped for a few days. They're actually turning all of the basketball arenas into voting spots. So I commend I commend LeBron, Chris Paul, and all the brothers to stand up and be like, you know what? Let's not have an excuse of a lot of our brothers from the streets in the hoods. They couldn't find where to vote, or they didn't have an address, or they didn't allow. No, they all know where the Staples Center is.
Right.
They all know where the arenas are. So that was a great move that they did that. They're not, you know.
But here's a problem with that. If you could give me a second to address that really quick.
Okay.
Alex. You know, it came out in the players' arbitration when they was voting on if they were going to come back from the boycott or not.
Mhm.
That horrible statistic: only 20% of NBA players are registered to vote.
Damn, are you serious?
Only 20% of
Wow.
NBA players are registered to vote.
That's sad and upsetting. That really
all of
pisses
this
me off.
all of this activism and all of these, you know, shirts, again, meaningful, but at the end of the day, it comes down to voting. Are you actually voting? And so that was actually in the conversation with Chris Paul was, you know, and I'm not a huge Chris Paul fan, but at least he's being a very good players rep.
First of all, Chris is a really cool dude, a down-to-earth dude. He wouldn't have been picked as the president of the Players Association if he wasn't. I'm just asking you a personal question. I could ask you this off the line, but I'm just curious as to why are you not a huge Chris Paul fan?
I meant fan as in guard. Like I'm rooting.
Because as a person, he's one of the coolest guys on the planet.
Yeah, I'm saying a fan as in a fan.
Okay.
Sports.
Okay, but you know what that tends to let me know, man. I'm glad you said that statistic. I mean, they don't call you fact man for nothing. But you know what?
But even with that being said, I think, you know, now is with everything that's going on, I think those numbers will change. I think
absolutely.
While we are trying to enlighten just the general public, like you should vote, I think in a lot of ways, this is actually also going to help galvanize the players. I heard Jason Tatum, I believe, say that he wasn't registered to vote.
See, that's a shame. That's a shame, man.
But he actually came out and said it, and he's like, it's going to change now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know, off of what you said, Doc, and off of what said, absolutely, Doc. I agree with you 1,000%. And I'm so happy you said that, because now I got to get something else off my chest. Now, how I just said a minute ago that LeBron and these guys are opening up the arenas for people to vote. Damn it, the players that play in that arena
need to vote.
That play on that team need to vote.
Exactly.
And you know what that kind of tells me? What's sad, and I hate to admit to this, this tells me that a lot of these young brothers that are making millions of dollars now that they're in the NBA, the NFL, and pro baseball, they're kind of like, what I need to vote for? I'm a millionaire now. No, what they need to understand, and whoever's watching right now, I don't care how much money you have. Vote. Voting is your voice. Voting is your voice. So every show we do here all the way to the election in November, you're going to see it in my post on Instagram. And I hope that my little small voice encourages somebody to vote, man. That's something like black folks. Really, I'm really speaking to us right now. We went so long when we were not allowed to vote. But now that we are allowed to vote, let's use that power, man. That's really upsetting, Sid. That's really bothering me right now that you said only 20% of the NBA were registered.
Yeah,
that's like saying,
and it speaks volumes to that, Alex.
Man,
you know, at least
that pisses me off.
60% of black people voted in 2016.
Because they felt like it didn't matter. We already voted for Obama. I don't need to vote again.
I'm trying to compare apples to apples, right? At least out of all the black people in the United States, 60% of black people went out and voted. I'm saying that's horrible in a small dynamic of the NBA. Only 20% of the NBA players. I'm not even saying African American NBA players, but only 20% of the NBA players voted.
But I would guarantee you, and I hate to just go out on a limb. Okay, hold on. I would guarantee you that the majority of that 20% is us. Because I hate to say it, we know the truth, man. Let's just be real. I hate always having to bring up black, white, but it's instilled in the majority of white people. Because when you grow up in a white household, and Betsy, I don't know if you'll agree with this or won't agree, because we've heard your story, so maybe this doesn't appeal to you, but the majority of white children in America, let's just say 10 to 20, you know what voting is. Why? Mom is talking about it. Dad is talking about it. Brothers and sisters are talking about it. You know what a credit card is. You know what a bank account is. A lot of these brothers, man, they didn't get a credit card till they got to the pros, man. They didn't get a real account till they got to the pros. And as far as voting goes, that shows you right there. Not only did they never vote in their lives, you have now made it to the highest level and you're still not voting. Brothers that are watching, get out and vote.
I agree with you, but I think it's like, I think it's growing up in households. A lot of households grow up really poor and, you're not thinking about voting. You could care less about politics because you're struggling for your next meal or to survive. So, yeah, I mean, my dad still pays everything cash. I keep telling him, please open a bank account. And I'm trying to educate on him, but he just doesn't get it. He stuffs money under mirrors that he makes in the week. He cashes a check at the So you can't argue with something like that. You know what I mean? And so when I want to help him out, I send him Walmart gift cards. But or like I have to like write a check and mail it.
He's just old school, and that's okay because some people don't change with the times. I have a saying for that, Betsy: get with the times or get left behind.
Yeah. I know, but it's us. It's the kids that have to teach our parents. I have to teach my own parents. I have to be parents to my own parents. So when you say get out and vote, it's like the kids, the young kids are the ones that are teaching these people to do it. And look at them on TikTok. They're all like voting.
Right, like it's a movement. It's a movement. And I think it's slowly catching on. Sad, let me ask you, man, because you mentioned this earlier, and then I'm going to ask Savvy next. What are your thoughts on that fast little boycott? Do you think any headway was made? Do you think that was something that was necessary? Was that something that had to happen? Because all I know is the eyes of the world were on the NBA. And we know that's a fact because after they boycotted, if you notice, all the other major team sports followed. Major League Soccer, pro baseball, WNBA, even hockey, where in an entire league of 500 dudes, there's 3 or 4 black dudes in hockey now. And even they acknowledge Black Lives Matter and that the injustice that's going on with our society today. What's your feeling on that little boycott, Sid?
Yeah, it's kind of weird, man, because I've had these conversations in private silos. And I feel, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I feel a little in the middle in how I stand with these things, right? I understand it's a lot of emotions that drive us to make decisions. And I think that a lot of times they don't follow up in actual results or actions. So I'm always kind of at pause when I see a lot of these symbolic gestures that we make where they make us feel good. But then at the end of the day, what was the actual tangible results? So I guess I'm always caught in the middle between the two. And that's kind of where I was with the protests. And when we look at really what activism and protests really stand for, when we had the Selma bus boycott or when we had the March on Washington, right? These were things to try to make sure we got the Voters' Right Act pushed forward, right? And so when we understand true activism, there's always an ask. There's always something that we're trying to bargain at the table when we do a boycott. Because the first thing they're going to ask is, what do we do? Okay, what y'all want us to do when we stop, right? And so I think that was the same sentiments that we had with this. Okay, you guys are boycotting your jobs for the sake of, bringing awareness. But okay, as an NBA organization, what do you want us to do? What is our responsibility in that conversation?
Well, from what I'm hearing, Sid, and I think you actually brought this to my attention, a lot of people don't know that Michael Jordan silently had a lot to do with bringing players together, and I think he was at the table when they tried to work something out. And I want to say this real fast: these are pro basketball players, dude. They're not politicians. They don't have the answers. They were just trying to be like, man, what can we do? All the eyes of the world are on us right now. We know that if these games don't happen, it's going to hit these owners in their pockets because they're the billionaires, and we are kind of like, yes, we're just the employees, but they can't keep this business going without us. It's kind of like when it happened 2 years ago when we talked about it in pro football. Not just one guy could take the knee. We need the whole league to stop for a second. Now, yes, it doesn't give you the answer immediately, But I think it's going to silently get the owners involved, because guess what? The owners are billionaires, all white billionaires that actually know legislators. They actually know congressmen. They actually know chief of police in every one of their cities. If these rich white billionaire owners wanted to really help and do something, they could really help this cause right now. But it started at, I hate to say, at the bottom with the players, but I think by them doing what they did, it gave us some kind of headway.
Yeah, I know. And I'm just kind of, again, that's why I said I'm in the middle. I guess I'm kind of pushing back on it a little bit, right? For the regular average layman, right? I guess I'm the only one that kind of works a traditional corporate job, right? It's like, what do I look like telling my boss? And I actually cracked this joke because I'm really cool with the people I work with. But I actually sent the text on that day, said, hey, guess what? I'm walking off work today for George Floyd.
Are you joking or are you serious?
I am dead serious. I text that within the company.
But unfortunately, I don't know. You're my friend, but I'm just going to say this. They don't look at you. They just look at you as an employee. You by yourself. They would probably go, okay, enjoy your day off, nigga. We'll see you tomorrow. You're not. By you calling in and said Black Power, I'm not working today, it doesn't make or break them. Correct?
Right. But that's the sentiments that I'm making, right? NBA players are employees. Just because
but there's a whole lot of them, and they make up the majority. Now, one thing we can say, the NBA, Black folks is the majority. In fact, I think it's 80. I think pro football is 65 or 70% Black, whereas the NBA is damn near 90% Black. So yes, the billions of dollars that these white owners make is, excuse my language, because these niggas on the basketball court. If they don't show up, these white dudes can't make no money.
No,
and I think
I get that. I'm pushing back a little bit to say, at what extent and limit is it the NFL's or the NBA's responsibility to push social activism? At the end of the day, our sport and our business, if we're just looking at this as a core business, again, y'all got the Black Lives Matter on the court. Y'all got the Black Lives Matter on the back. We donate money. You guys can say whatever y'all want to say and do whatever y'all want to do in the media. And then now something happens. Now y'all like, at what point as an owner, or at what point do we look at this just from a business perspective and say, what lines are we going to draw here? And all I'm really merely doing is pushing back. I'm not saying I don't support the cause, but I'm not also saying that there's just a carte blanche, blank check where
No. I hear what you're saying, because unfortunately, I hear what you're saying, Sid, because unfortunately, another Black man could get killed tonight, and it'll be on the news, and we'll all be mad at that, at the next brother that they killed.
Right? We see the guy in LA, right? So it did happen, right?
It happened today, right? Was it today or yesterday?
So my point is, it's like we have to find that perfect balance, and that's why I'm saying I'm in the middle, because there has to be a balance. Should we have social activism in sport? Yes. But should it be overran with social activism and every cause? Should we have a stoppage? And should we just, because I'm speaking to, okay, one day, cool. A couple days, cool. They were saying we shutting down the entire playoffs. We're not playing no more for the rest of the year.
And that was talk. And you know what? But you got to understand, but said, you got to understand, man, that is talking out of frustration and anger. It's like, imagine if you're a woman, right? And you're in an abusive relationship. You're sick of this man putting his hands on you. He should not do that. No man is supposed to put his hands on a woman. But she's screaming out for help. And you're like, what are you gonna do? He's just gonna come back and do it again? No. What do you expect her not to say something? Like I said, if another Black man gets shot or killed, they're not gonna not say anything. We're just kind of all screaming out to law enforcement and laws in America. Please do something to help us.
Right. I agree with that.
That's the scream. We're screaming out for help and compassion right now as African Americans. Like, when is it going to stop? When you see the back of these jerseys, enough is enough. You know, who's next? You know what I mean? Like, how many more? We're just trying to get equality, man. We see on the news every single day that it is literally two sets of laws. And that's messed up, man. And we're going to actually get to that a little bit later. I didn't want to jump out of context, but is Savvy back on?
No, he said he'll be right back.
Oh, okay, well, Savvy not on. So kind of switching reels, but not switching reels. Since we're on the topic of basketball right now, rest in peace to Coach John Thompson, man. He was 78 years old.
No doubt.
And I'm a huge basketball fan. My wife even asked me last night, did you know that guy? I was like, man, did I know that guy? I didn't know him personally, but you kind of feel my generation, we grew up watching those Georgetown teams with John Thompson as the coach. You grew up watching Allen Iverson or Pat Ewing or Alonzo Mourning. I mean, this guy was an amazing pro basketball player. He actually won 2 championships with the Boston Celtics as a player, and he was actually the first African-American coach to win NCAA championship. And it's just sad, man. He was such a great mentor to so many young brothers out there. Were you aware of who he was, Sid?
Of course. Come on, man. Telling my age, but no, come on, man. I grew up in that era.
Yeah.
Grew up, so crazy. When I grew up, I thought that actually Georgetown was a black college.
So did I. So do you know it took till I was a grown-ass man? And of course, a grown-ass man that never went to college. But from watching all those years,
yeah,
I could have sworn Georgetown was a black college because of that all-black basketball team.
Oh, yeah. Then they start having like Kente on the uniform.
Oh, come on. I remember it all.
Keeping all of like the African-centric stuff. I was like, oh, yeah, Georgetown, that's like a black college. I didn't know that was no way near.
Let me tell you something, brother. Let me tell you something. They had a lot to do, and I wish I could have Phil Knight on the show. Phil Knight, for the people that don't know, he is the owner of Nike. He will tell you that the city of DC, the school Georgetown, had a lot to do with billions of dollars sold in basketball shoes, in basketball apparel. Because those years, let's just take 85 to 95. They were kind of like, they were 4 to 5 years, 6 years maybe, before the Fab Five, before Jalen Rose and Chris Webber and all those Michigan dudes. Georgetown gear, growing up in South Central LA, the G was for gangster. Every Crip I knew, we were like a new blue because it was a darker blue and it had a G on it.
That's
so
hilarious.
G was straight up gangster and it was blue. And remember, the uniforms were gray and blue, so it worked great with the Crip fashion show.
Yeah, all day.
So, as an LA dude that had never been on an airplane, had never traveled yet, I was like, "This G is crazy," and we just knew that was the Georgetown basketball team, and their uniforms were selling crazy out here. And then, obviously, the next generation came around when the Allen Iversons came around, and it's still. I mean, it touched a lot of people if you loved basketball in the 80s and the early 90s.
So hold on, Alex. Are you formally saying that you was a Crip? Is that what you're saying now?
I was
a Crip.
I was a Crip choreographer.
You're a Crip adjacent.
I was Crip adjacent, and I was a Crip choreographer.
He was a Crip walker.
Exactly. I was the choreographer for all the Crip dance contests. That's what I was. I was in the Crip dance division. Okay. People see me C-walk and they're like, dude, was you banging? No, I was just dancing, brother. I never held a gun. I never went on a drive-by. When they wanted me to go on a drive-by, I was like, nigga, I'm working on my dance moves. And so, but yeah, man, rest in peace to John Thompson, man. That was sad, man. He did. And then a lot of people don't know that his son went on to be a coach of that school also. Mm-hmm. And then now the great Pat Ewing, who was his understudy and who was also a star those years, he's now the current coach of the Georgetown team. So, that was very sad.
That's dope to kind of see the branches that fall from, that are attached to that.
Absolutely.
To that tree. And to see his figures, like you said, not dating ourselves, but during that time in the 80s, to see a black coach of his stature, he just looked he was just so tall and, had his towel.
The white towel, exactly.
To see that, from a young, like it just felt empowering. Like, wow, like, you know, this is a black man running.
Absolutely.
Stuff, you know
and then to add to what you said, Doc, I said it earlier, but I'm going to say it again. He was, let's just make it loud and clear, the first black coach to ever win an NCAA championship. But I'm going to take it a step further. Something I saw on ESPN last night, and it kind of gave me chills thinking about it. So 90% of all the players he had, I don't know how many years, let's say he coached for 20 years, like literally 90% of them were young black men that came from broken homes, dysfunctional homes, no dads. And he literally was way beyond just a coach on the court, because Allen Iverson, in his Hall of Fame speech, he said, Coach actually saved
his life.
my life.
Yeah.
This man saved my life. I didn't have a dad to talk to me. I would have still been in them streets. I would have still been doing dumb stuff as a young black man. We all looked at him. They said they all looked at him like, we don't want to not only upset our coach, but upset our dad that we never had. Right? So one of the craziest stories, and they talked about it when we 1 second, Halo. One story that he told last night, and it was deep, man. During the 80s, say from 85 to 95, there was one huge, and everybody watching right now that's from the DMV or DC knows what I'm talking about. He was the El Chapo of DC. He was the biggest drug dealer for 10 years, and his name was Rayful Edmonds. I don't know if you guys have ever seen a Rayful Edmonds documentary. He was bigger than Big Meech and Freeway Wick, how we had on here on the West Coast. He was the El Chapo of DC.
Was he kin to Babyface, Kavon, and was he one of the Edmonds boys too?
No, I don't know. I have no idea. I just know. I know. His name was Rayful Edmonds. If you Google Rayful Edmonds, you'll see he was the biggest dealer. He was put it this way. He was making millions of dollars a day 2 blocks away from the White House. And It was a known fact for years. But John Thompson found out that one of his players, he'll never say who, and I'm cool with not knowing who, but one of his star players was at a party, like a college party during those years. And I think he either dabbled with the drugs or there was a lot of drugs going on at the party. And this dude's one of my star players. John heard about it, got in his car, and rode to the goddamn drug party. And broke the party up. And Rayful Edmonds himself, who was a huge fan, was like, nigga, that's John Thompson. Talked to Rayful Edmonds and summons Rayful Edmonds to come down to his office and speak at Georgetown. One-on-one, black man to black man, dad to young black man. And Rayful Edmonds actually went down to the school.
Out of respect. I mean,
out of respect. And it was kind of one of those silent things where he was kind of saying, look, brother, I can't stop you from selling drugs. I heard you're making millions of dollars a day, but these young dudes, these 13 dudes on this team that have a future, that are all future NBA players, I don't want to hear, I don't care who you are, dude. I don't want to hear about them being at any of your parties, any of them messing with drugs, and you're not going to mess their lives up. That's the kind of coach that John Thompson was. You can't say that a lot of other players, stop, Halo. You can't say that a lot of the players, coaches would have went there with it. You know what I mean? So basically, kind of like the streets of DC kind of silently looked out for those dudes. Like, nah, dude, we ain't going to be shooting in here. We're not going to be doing these drugs around those dudes. I watch these dudes on NBC every week. They're they're a black basketball team and they doing things. They don't need to be in this world. You know what I mean? So shout out to John Thompson for that. Was just kind of like a testament of the type of man and the type of coach that he was. Yeah. He took it beyond the court. You know what I mean? Speaking of resting in peace, we lost another great one with Chadwick Boseman, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
Super sad, man. Only 43 years old. He was battling cancer for a while. This dude did 3 or 4 huge, movies. while he was battling and sick. Just kind of shows how strong of an individual he was. Did you watch any of his movies, Betsy?
I've probably seen one, but I don't watch superhero movies, but I'm gonna watch Black Panther.
Okay, did you see 42?
I'm the worst.
Did you see 42, the Jackie Robinson story?
I don't know. I don't think I saw that. Oh,
okay.
That's,
you need to see that.
Yeah, no, I think I may have seen that.
You need to see it. You'll have an all new respect for that brother. And he also played James Brown.
I think that guy's an awesome guy, just all around awesome guy. I don't know if you watch a lot of his interviews. I watch him on all of his interviews, and he just basically was like, you know, didn't let Hollywood paint him as like, you know, playing
stereotypical
roles. Yeah, I mean, he was, and just like he just did a lot of things for people. Like, you know, I think he was just awesome. It's just
he was amazing.
Really
he played the hell out of the Jackie Robinson role. He played the hell out of James Brown role, and obviously Black Panther. No one knew that would just end up being one of the biggest movies in movie history. That just literally crossed him over and took it to the level where he was a global icon.
That was the biggest superhero film ever to be made. I mean, I'm really bad. Like I should watch Iron Man. I should watch all of them.
yeah, but there was a dope moment that happened during the All-Star weekend. I don't think it was this last year, it was the year before last. Or 2 years ago when Black Panther came out, but he was sitting in the front row at the dunk contest, and Victor Oladipo, who was on the Pacers at that time, or I think he was in Orlando at that time. This was an amazing moment. Raul, roll that clip real quick.
Black Panther. Black Panther. Oh, you going with it? That's why you can take it down. Okay. And that's Chadwick Boseman, the star of Black Panther. That's authentic. Yeah. Go with that. I love that. I love that. What's he about to do, though? Come on, boy. Yeah, but the dunk has to be black. And you got to make it, man. Yeah. Come on. Yeah. Great idea.
That was dope.
Yeah.
I can't hear anybody. Everybody's muted.
Just you know, the dramatic of it, the way it was set up.
I can't hear anybody.
I don't know.
We can hear you.
We can hear you. Go ahead, Doc.
Oh, I didn't know. Yeah, just the way it was just all set up, you know, just added so much drama to it. And Victor Oladipo looks like he could have played that character, like he could have been the Black Panther. So just that, it's just so dope, and even so iconic when you look at it now.
Yeah.
And knowing what we know now, that he was probably sick then, you know what I mean? So that even makes it that much more just special. Looking at it now, like, man, he had been battling this, you know, this sickness this whole time, and was just always so gracious and took on the whole Black Panther thing, where all Black folks think like Wakanda's a real place. Like, we took that dead ass.
Hey man, I know a nigga that thought Wakanda was over by Hawthorne. They thought it was a real place, man.
Great.
Ain't that off the 405? Hey, I want to say this, man, on a serious tip. I guess my headphones. Let me ask you guys a question. When you guys watched the dunk contest, was there sound on that?
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess my earphones went out. So on a serious note, this man died of colon cancer at 43 years old. I'll give you a little insight. They'd say for most Black males that, you know, you should definitely in your late 30s, early 40s, get a colonic, and then by 50, get a colonoscopy. Now, because of his death, they're saying that there's starting to be, I mean, he's just one person, but colon cancer is it's running rampant in the African-American community. So I encourage all the brothers out there whose numbers are about to change. So basically they're saying get a colonoscopy at 40 now and start checking your prostate in your 30s. It's real. It's super serious, and you don't want brothers to continue dying because of this. I started getting colonics in my late 30s. I was just one of those kind of dudes that was just like, dude, I just want to know. I know black dudes and brothers, we don't like going to doctors. We don't like checking. But, man, it's very serious. So to all the young brothers out there watching right now, start off with a colonic. Ease your way in there. It's just, I know it sounds crazy. I'm not even trying to be funny.
Yeah.
But colonic is, they're going to stick a couple of fingers up there.
No, and it's not
You
funny.
need a colonoscopy. You need a colonoscopy.
No. Ease your way in there, and that sounded funny because what we're talking about, but you're so on point. I actually have, and I've been struggling with over the last couple of years, just like you said, just the stigma of the type of procedure that is, and you know, so I just like, man, I know I gotta go. Go. So I actually have my colonoscopy. September 14th is my is the date of my procedure.
Welcome to the club. Welcome to the club.
I went to the doctor a couple weeks ago and literally was just asking him every question that I possibly could ask, just in regards to how does the procedure work and why is it that black men, especially it runs, in us, that we have to go, like he's saying, like you said, Alex, he's saying that we should really go start to do this process at 45.
Absolutely, brother. Let me tell you something, man. I'm not a doctor, but you're talking to somebody that has had all 3 procedures.
So, Alex, can you explain the difference between a colonoscopy and a
colonic? I am about to, and that's why I'm here. Sometimes you need a cool young dude to be able to tell you, like, yo, bro, this is real. I know I'm a comedian, but I'm not joking. So if it comes out funny, that's because that's just the way I talk. But how do I say it? If you had a car for 10 years, would you go 10 years without checking the oil?
Right.
Would you have a car for 20?
Without getting a tune-up?
Huh?
Without getting a tune-up?
That's how you got to look at it with your body. So to answer your question, Doc, when you said, why is it so much with black men? Unfortunately, and just being real, it's our diets, man. It starts with your diet. Period, point blank. We know how we as a culture and as a people, how we've eaten our whole lives. So you're either going to be the type of person that becomes aware and you want to catch this problem before it happens, or you're going to be that dude that it's going to be too late and then there's nothing you could do. So to explain the difference between a colonic and a colonoscopy, I got my colonics. It put it this way. After my first one, I would just get them every 2 years. And that's basically to cleanse out your intestines. Mm-hmm. All the bullshit that you've eaten. I don't even want to get into the deep talk as far as vegan and vegetarian and all that. That's something you do, when you really want to change your life around. But I'm just talking about people, just the average person that's not doing any of that. You go get a colonic because, first of all, you feel better afterwards. You feel like, damn, you see the junk that's coming out of you. You kind of feel good about it. It's kind of like a deep cleanse, right? Mm-hmm. But then when I turned 50, that's when it was like, it's time to get a colonoscopy. And if you guys remember, Betsy, you weren't on the show yet, but I had got a colonoscopy. A colonoscopy is beyond deep cleanse. So how do you say it? It's almost like saying, I can fix your the things that are in at the top of your engine. When you open the engine top and you just see wires all over the place, you can clean those. But a colonoscopy is like taking your engine apart and getting deep into the crevices of your bowels and your intestines. And as you know, the intestines is one of the longest organs in your body. If you stretch somebody's intestines out, it can go 30, 40 yards, right? So what they do is they put you to sleep. And I got to give a shout out to my wife, because my wife is so gangster and so strong, 10 times stronger than me. She actually got the procedure first. And when I drew from her strength, when she got her colonoscopy, I was like, Oh my God!
Oh dang! Y'all got no excuse.
Exactly. I had no excuse. Put it this way: I went and got the colonoscopy a week and a half later. Stop, Halo, with the same doctors, because I was like, you know what? It's just time. There was no medical reason. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna stand up for this, and I just want to make sure everything's good, because I know I haven't been the cleanest guy over the years as far as what I put into my system, right? But when I tell you, first of all, they put me on that propofol.
So that's what I was going to ask you, Alex, because I did ask you were on propofol.
I was on the Michael Jackson juice.
Yeah, the milk. You was on the milk.
Brother, let me tell you something. That little 1 hour of sleep, I felt like I slept for 17 hours.
That's what I keep hearing.
It was the best sleep I have got in my life. So now I know why Michael was on propofol every
day.
Because that shit put you to sleep. Unfortunately, that happened to him with his situation. But when I tell you, all I remember was the doctor saying, "Turn to your side." They put me on this pillow, and she put this mask on my face and said, "Count to 10 backwards."
How far did you remember? So what did you remember?
They said I got to 5, and it was Never Neverland, nigga. Dude, when I woke up, and my wife was in the room too, I was like, "So you try to tell me I was asleep
this whole time?"
So you try to tell me they was all the way up in me, and then they show you the pictures,
right,
of your insides. I'm like, oh my God, you guys really were up in me. I'm talking with flashing beam lights. Like you saw every inch of the inside of my asshole. And
man. Too much information.
Was crystal clear, brother.
Okay, I got it. You wouldn't have. I understand. You don't got to go. I mean,
oh my God,
do all that.
Doc, it's like they put Windex inside my asshole.
Oh,
they gave it a spit shine.
They gave it a spit shine, and they were like, "You're good." I was like, "Okay." I went through all that, but
question. So when it was over, did you feel okay? Two things. Did you feel groggy at all?
Yeah. So what happens is you can't drive that day. You
right.
can't do anything physical because you're just sleepy all day.
Oh, so you're still sleepy.
Put it this way: on the drive home, when she drove me back, I was not. She had to wake me up again when I got to the house.
Okay.
Like Michael Jackson juice was still working.
Now, did you feel like somebody had been back there?
You heard of Beetlejuice?
Yeah.
I had Beat It juice. No, now you do feel like you got a little loose booty.
Whistling. You're whistling.
You're like, what? Why do I feel like my cheeks are still damp? Like what?
Well, you was twerking all day and wasn't trying to. You was
hey, I was shitting hot soup, brother.
Oh,
it was there was nothing to hold nothing. But
come on.
Hey, I took a dump and it felt like I was peeing for 10 minutes.
So was there? So my question, okay, outside of that, I get that. But was there any like discomfort? Did you feel like
not, Doc? When I tell you the Beat It juice worked, when I tell you I felt absolutely nothing, because I was like you, dude. I was nervous as hell.
I've been so nervous about this, dude.
Dude, but Doc, I asked it, and my wife was like, "Will you stop asking all these questions?" Like, dude, I've never had surgery in my life. Knock on wood. I've never been put under for anything.
Me either. I've never been put under.
Dude,
never.
When I tell you, I'm looking at her on this. They propped my pillows up perfectly, and she's like, "No, literally, just lay your head down." I was like, you mean like this? And nigga, when I tell you, I was in Neverland. It's that simple, Doc. But let me tell you something, brother. With the midst of me joking and laughing at everybody, any black men out there that are 40 and older, start making those plans, man. Start really thinking about it. Leave all that masculine bullshit out. If
out
you
the window, for sure.
You want to be here for your family, your future family. If you don't have any kids, you got to get your prostate checked first.
No, you're right.
You know, get a colonic and then move up to a prostate check, because the prostate is serious, man. Yeah, he bends you over. Yes, he puts a whole hand in your ass. But trust me.
Alex, okay, I understand. You don't got to do all that. I got it.
Here's the comedy. If your prostate feels like a football, nigga, you don't have too much time on this planet.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Brothers are dying because of this shit. If the doctor could throw a curveball, a knuckle slider with your prostate, it's not healthy, dude. I'm joking and I'm laughing, but it's kind of like a peace of mind.
Right.
It goes over you that when you know, it's almost like would you try to drive from here to Long Beach on an empty tank?
Right. No, I got it. The premise, I got it. It's just that stigma of, being put under for one, and then being put under and feeling like you're violated. That's the part.
I know what you're afraid of, Doc. You're afraid.
Come on, dog.
You walked in there, you had your jeans and your jersey on, but you left in some booty shorts. That's what you're You feel like you're gonna be twerking out that bitch. They're gonna be like, Doc, how are you? He's like, I'm just great.
Oh my!
Yeah, he gonna get turned out.
Said, don't say that. I'm gonna get turned out. Really, said that's what she has to do.
You're not even gonna know what happened. You're gonna be fine. You need to get it done. You have to get it done.
Have you gone through the procedure?
I did the prostate exam this year, but I haven't done the colonoscopy.
You haven't done a colonoscopy?
Nah, I haven't done that.
And y'all need to get your testicles checked too.
What'd you say?
You need to get your testicles checked too.
Oh, well,
you need to check your own testicles.
Yeah, because that's kind of all down there and a part of it, but they can tell. And that's another. I'm gonna be honest with you, Betsy, just to throw it out to you. Testicular cancer is a huge thing with all men, right? But specifically
with black men,
cancer is huge in the black African American.
That's because the government. That's a whole nother racism issue. The government targets people of color to eat a certain way. Yeah. They actually spend money to drive ads to people of color, keeping them eating meat and dairy.
Very true.
So it's all of our tax money that's actually killing people of color. So that's a huge problem for me. Another reason I'm vegan. But anyway, my brother died of testicular cancer. So it's just you have to men are so funny because they want to hold off on these things, and it's just at the end of the day,
it's just the macho thing. It's just it's just you feel like less of a man, which is really ridiculous. But really, that's being 100. That's what it is. Like you just don't want to feel like you're being violated or touched in a certain way, even though that's not the case. That's not what a doctor's doing. But that's just the mindset.
I mean, Doc, it's not like when you walk into your doctor's office,
here you go,
wearing a wife beater and playing some Maxwell, okay? It's not like he's gonna be lighting incense and be like, "Damn, bro, I like it."
We've been waiting on you.
I want to ask you a quick question, brother. Take your sunglasses off because I know that you gotta always have them on. You feel me? And I didn't know if it, Oh, by the way, you smoke?
You want to hit this?
I am waiting for Doc to tell us he walked into the doctor's office. Marvin Gaye was on.
He's trying
to get real uncomfortable.
That's hilarious.
You walk in here to get your prostate, but why are you going? You're like sexual healing. Well, sexual healing. Oh, baby. So fun. Can you turn off this music, bro?
Bend over, Doc. Just bend over.
Right.
Hey.
Poor Doc.
But honestly, Doc, I'm glad you brought that up because it takes young, cool, fly, hip brothers like ourselves to talk about it. Because if guys like us don't talk about it, yes, the average brother is tending to think, oh, that's some shit my granddaddy got to do. Or that's some shit, we don't ever talk about. Hey, brother, the same way you talk about buying them new Jordans and what the new weed is, you better be talking about that colonoscopy in your asshole for a second, nigga.
No, for sure.
You won't be able to smoke that weed if you check out real soon because of, unfortunately, colon cancer. So anybody that's watching this, I want you to know, yes, it's a very serious topic, but me, myself, Alex Thomas, comedian of almost 30 years, this is how I deal with issues. This is how I deal with problems. And a lot of times it comes out in a joking form. So I don't want anybody to see this and be like, oh, nigga was talking about it seriously, he was joking about it. No, not at all, because it is no joke.
No,
and
still serious.
On behalf of my brother that actually got a colonoscopy, my brother that actually got a colonic, and actually had my prostate checked. So that's that. I want to say something real quick, man. Raul, I want you to bring up the words that President Obama stated. He put out a statement when Chadwick Boseman passed, and I want to read it so people can really. He said, Chadwick came to the White House to work with kids when he was playing Jackie Robinson. You could tell right away that he was blessed to be young, gifted, and black, to use that power to give them heroes to look up to. Do it all in pain. What a use of his years.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
And he was having surgeries. I mean, surgeries during the filmings. He was.
Yeah. And I think it's a testament too of, a lesson we get out. So many lessons we get out of it, right? But I think also the lesson of you don't know what people are going through, right?
Absolutely, Chad. That's
so
real.
Easy to like ridicule or criticize, and kind of give kind of judgment based on people. I was looking at yesterday, one of his cast members from
Five Bloods.
From the Five Bloods, right? And it's like the brother was on there, and he was talking about he was excited to work with Chadwick Boseman, and his wife asked him, "Hey, how was your experience working with Chadwick Boseman?" And he was like, "I kind of dissed him, like to my wife, like I was like saying, yeah, he was kind of precious." And he went on to say, his wife was like, "What makes you think he's precious?" And he was like, "Well, I think maybe this Black Panther thing is kind of like going to his head a little bit."
What do you mean by that? What did he mean by precious?
He's telling you, yeah.
I'm explaining it. And so he's like, yeah, I'm telling my wife, I think this Black Panther thing is going to his head. And, I don't know. Just the best way I can say is I think he kind of precious. And she said his wife asked him, and he was like, well, I was on set. And, he had one person massaging his feet, and then he had a special chiropractor coming in, and he had his own special nutrition coming in. And then his wife was there with him, like every second holding his hand. And it was like, man, I'm a 70-year-old man. And, he was talking about how they had 30-pound backpacks because it was like a Vietnam type.
I saw the movie. The movie was actually great. We actually watched it Saturday.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Yeah. So he was saying, like, I'm 70 years old. I ain't got no special team like helping me through the process. I got to like trek through the jungle with the bag. And here, the youngest guy on the set got this whole team like pampering him. And he was like, man, I feel so bad. I never said anything publicly, but just even within myself, the only person I shared that was my wife. And so he was even like breaking down.
He broke down and started crying.
Yeah,
he started crying.
Story as a testament to be like, man, that brother was going through something. And it's so funny now looking at it in hindsight, his whole team was just helping him cope through the process of the film process at the time. And he wasn't this like special person. He was special in the other aspect of the word special.
Somebody actually brought it up too. They said something on Instagram, unfortunately, man, there's some mean, evil, cruel ass people out there, man, that, you get people like us that are content creators and we do what we do on the internet, but there's people out there that are just evil at heart, people that bash gay people, the people that troll, the people that they just sit on this thing just to talk negative about people. And a lot of those people are feeling horrible because unfortunately, I hate to say it, in the African-American community, if we see anybody losing weight or looking any type of sick, like, oh man, he must got that shit or he must got this and that. But they don't realize, man, like you said, people are going through different mental issues and people are going through different things. So that's the last thing we need to do because, hey, man, that could have been you. That could happen to you too. You know what I mean? So let's hope as an example, man, because of this situation, because people were trolling and talking about the way he looked and this and that, man, look what had happened. This dude was fighting a terminal illness and still working and still on social media. So I hope people I don't wish bad on anybody, but for the people that were talking bad about him in this last year or two from social media, I hope they learned a lesson. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess I got into a heated back and forth in my personal conversation with people, and I was wanting to bring it to our platform and ask people their perspective on it as well. I got into a big back and forth over the very question of since we're talking about illness and we use this word mental illness so much right now in our society that do we look at things like people being evil as Alex just mentioned, or do we look at racism? Is that a illness or is it a choice? I had a close friend tell me that no, well, it's a choice that people make, and I'm arguing a position that I believe that we can possibly look at a lot of hatred and evil acts that people have as a form of illness. But I wanted to open the floor to ask you guys: do you think it's a choice? Or do you think it's an illness?
Betsy, let's start with you.
Oh, geez, thanks. Just throw me right in there. I just think it's interesting because I was having a conversation with my husband. I'm like, I just don't. For me, we both what makes you grow up and hate a certain person? It's just insane because you watch the news and you see everything going on. But part of me does think a little bit of it is mental. And I think it's maybe someone in your family that tells, I'm not sure. Maybe it's someone in your family that tells you to be this way and you grow up knowing nothing else. It's like, remember when you believed in Santa Claus and it was real because you were told that since you were a kid and then you found out Santa Claus wasn't real and you were like, is that racism? I don't know.
Hold on, Santa Claus isn't real?
Wait, I want to say.
Oh God! I hope Alex's kids aren't in the room.
I want to say something because we don't have a lot of time. Because I really want to hear that from everybody real quick before we get on our last topic. But how do you put that in a quick sentence? And just give me the sentence real quick. Is racism a disease or how did you say it? Say it.
Or a choice.
Okay, there you go.
Is it a choice or learned behavior, or is it an innate illness or sickness?
I will say this without being too long-winded, and then I want to ask Savvy the question. I feel like it can definitely be instilled, and unfortunately, I gotta use like white supremacists or let's say KKK members, or how. When we saw, like maybe a month ago, we saw these racist white people, middle America, sitting on back of their F-150s, drinking beer with Confederate flags. And you will see grandpa, you'll see dad, mom, you'll see the teenage kid, and you'll see the 5-year-old son. It's a disease, I believe, that started with grandpa. And he put that disease and that ignorance into his son. And then his son, whether his wife was into it or not, they instilled that into their children. Now you have a 5-year-old that the last thing on the planet he should be talking about is either white power or knowing what a Confederate flag is, or thinking that black people aren't this and that. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I think it's a vicious cycle that's instilled in the youth. And I think some people, depending on what year they were born and age they were, like I'm pretty sure you get a 65 to 80-year-old white man that lives in South Carolina right now or Mississippi right now that is still flying the Confederate flag nice and high. I think he instills that disease into his offspring, and it just spreads like a virus. I don't know. What do you think, Savvy?
Well, are we talking about? Do you feel like this is something that's in you or something that's taught to you, right?
Yeah, like is racism? He said, is racism a disease or is it a choice?
I believe that it is a choice, and I believe this is taught to you. I'm gonna give you an example. My daughter goes to a dance class where it's predominantly Caucasian. My daughter, every time she references one of her friends, she calls them by name. Whatever their name is, she calls them by name. Well, there was one time my daughter was doing a handstand and she tripped and she fall and she hit one of the other little girls. And the little girl said, "Mommy, that black girl hurt me." So obviously, if you're putting a skin tone onto a person, somebody in your household is using these terms. Hey, that one's black, that one's white, that one's Hispanic. So I feel like as a child, you're pure in all this. When you have friends, you just have friends. You don't say my black friend, my purple friend, my red friend. So I believe that this is taught to you by grandparents, by great-grandparents, by immediate parents. Somewhere on down the line, you were taught that you were superior, or you were taught that that person over there is beneath you because of this, or we don't like that group of people because of that. And so I believe it gets so deeply into your mind that you're better, or you don't like another person for the acts of maybe one, or for the acts of what you were actually taught. This is definitely something that was taught to you, but it's not a disease. It's not a disease.
Weird. That's very weird. So the little girl that said that black girl, how old would you say she is? 5, 6?
5. They're all 5.
Yeah. See, that's a problem, man. Because I have a 5-year-old, and if I heard that, I would be surprised too. And the first thing I would look at is the parents. I wouldn't even look at the
not the child at all.
Yeah, it's not the child's fault. Something is being said, some type of narrative, some type of discussion, whether they're at home having lunch, breakfast, or dinner. They're saying those kind of things. What they don't understand is that damages and that instills in their little minds. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. And
so
I hated to hear it, but in this nation that we're living in now, man, it's never went nowhere. We've been complaining for 400 years. So obviously it's never went anywhere. But like Sid was saying, politics is an issue. You have right wing that are / racist, but / just simply Republican, but it blends together and it all starts to look like the same thing to me, which is racism.
Right. I want to end the show on a good note. I mean, those are all serious topics, and I'm glad that you guys brought that up. But I want to end this on a smile and a laugh, and I just thought this was really funny. I don't know if you heard about this, but a Japanese scientist recently has finally figured out a way to make a flying car.
Oh, shit, I saw that.
And they said by 2023 that we may have flying cars, and they may be between the range of 500,000 to 1 million. So my question to everybody real quick, let's start with you, Raul. Would you if it was affordable, would you go copy a flying mobile?
Man, it'll take me a while to get used to flying that, man. I don't know if that looks like I'm riding a damn Prius.
That's a drone. That ain't nothing but a drone.
It ain't nothing but a drone.
Yeah. That's what it looks. Yeah,
it's a drone. It's a drone, basically.
It looks like something on Star Wars.
Hey, I would buy that drone and rename myself Jerome. Jerome with the drone.
Jerome with the drone.
Let me tell you something. I would cop that bitch immediately. No more traffic for Alex Thomas.
Now it'll be traffic in the air though, Alex. So
nigga, I'm getting from the valley in Long Beach in 8 minutes. Hey, where you at right now, Alex? Hold up. I'm over at LAX right now. Where y'all at? Hey, Savvy, I know you was about to get on that 110, but there's an overturned vehicle in the number 3 lane right now. So stick alert on the 60. So you might not want to get on that, okay?
Hey, Alex, I would be flying that bitch just above traffic level. It'd be just high enough to move the big rig, nigga.
So you'd be like a low rider.
There you go.
So Savvy would be dropping dollar bills down.
Dropping dollar bills. Hey, I would be flying just high enough to where if that bitch crashed, I'll just break an ankle or something, nigga.
Right. Hey, Savvy, right above the street lights.
There you go, right above the street light.
So you be about 18 feet off the ground, so you ain't going too high.
Boy, I'll be Savvy Jetson, nigga. It's right above, like you said, right above the traffic light, right there.
Straight up Jetsons.
And it's gonna happen too. It's gonna happen, man.
Dude, come on, man. If an airplane can fly with 400 people and fly from here to China or Africa, you don't think they can get a Camry-sized drone, a Ford Festiva-sized drone to LA to Vegas? Come
Yeah, I'm
on,
gonna let
man.
y'all have
It
it.
was a Camry-sized drone.
Come on,
Damn.
man. A 747 can have 500 people on it and take you
Man.
around the world. You don't think a Prius-sized drone can
Man.
take you from here to Phoenix?
Let me tell you something right now, Alex. If any comedian on the planet doesn't come out of all this with an hour comedy special, then you can't call yourself a comedian, bro.
Hey, man, I can't wait to hit the stage.
Oh my God.
It ain't even funny. Hey, real quick, shout out to everybody that is watching. We really appreciate you guys watching the Funny Don't Stop show. If you want to purchase your Fed Up shirts, look, man, if you are fed up like all of us, say it with your chest, man. Go to thefunnydon'tstop.com. Thefunnydon'tstop.com. I mean, it says it right there on the chest, man. We're fed up, you know, and Black Lives Matter. It seems like just as soon as you feel like things are slowing down or things like maybe things are changing, another African American or minority is somehow, some way killed by these police, and more things are happening. So obviously we are still in the thick of this, and show your support. Say it with your chest, and get your Fed Up shirts. Great show today, you guys. Appreciate you. Doc, where can they find you at?
DOC221ENT.
Betsy Cox.
Blingin' Betsy Comedy, and you know where else.
Said Brass.
At SEDBRASS.
Savvy Amusing.
Instagram, Savvy Amusing.
Raul.
Instagram, The Big Goose, DABIGGUZ.
That's what I'm talking about. Amen. And you know the hashtag. The hashtag is The Funny Don't Stop. You can find me at Funny Man Alex Thomas, but you can find me every single Tuesday right here on The Funny Don't Stop Show.
The Funny Don't Stop Show. The Funny Don't Stop. Hey, Funny Don't Stop Show. The Funny Don't Stop. The Funny Don't Stop Show. The Funny Don't Stop. The Funny Don't Stop Show. The Funny Don't Stop. Hey, The Funny Don't Stop Show. The Funny Don't Stop. Hey, Funny Don't Stop Show. The Funny Don't Stop. The Funny Don't Stop Show. The Funny Don't Stop. The Funny Don't Stop.